4K over 120 meters, but these require power on both sides. So these are what you call active HDMI over Cat5. You may wonder why I'm stood in front of a monitor that's got a PTZ camera moving around. Because I'm going to be talking about transmitting HDMI over different methods. So at the moment, let's say for example, you've got a recorder in one part of the property, be it domestic or commercial, and the client would like a monitor away from the recorder. So maybe, let's say in the front room, in a kitchen, let's say in a commercial premises, they might want one on the reception desk. What can you do? So at the moment, you've got a couple of different options. We've got HDMI over Cat5. So the ones I've got here, which I have spoken about previously, are passive. So these will do up to 30 meters at 1080p resolution. If you want to go further than that, you then go for some active units. So something like this. Now this one will allow you to do 4K over 120 meters, but these require power on both sides. So these are what you call active HDMI over Cat5. Now, the other device that I've got, of one that I have spoken about recently, is wireless HDMI. Now that means you basically plug in the transmitter at the recorder side, and then you can have a receiver up to, now this is where I'm going to be testing this now. This device says it can do up to 50 meters. I have previously tested a device that does 25 meters and it works perfectly in line of sight. However, this one is now utilizing 5G frequency. So this claims that it can do up to 50 meters. So first, I'm going to put it into a couple of different tests. That's why I'm in the office. I'm going to basically populate it into one of the recorders, one that's got movement, so we can also see what the latency is like. And then I'm going to do a test basically about 10 meters away. And then I will walk around the building with my test monitor to see if it will work through walls and up to what distance. So let's put that to the test now. So let's take this unit out of the box. So as you can see, it comes in a nice little pouch, and we've got a couple of different adapters. So this looks like a HDMI coupler, and then you see here we have got, now this is the transmitter. It's USB powered, so I need to power it from a USB. So if we look on a recorder, I could populate it into the HDMI and then populate the USB into maybe either the front or the back, because sometimes the units have two USB devices, and that's simply all it is. So that's the transmitter side, and then I have on the other side, I have got a receiver. So this, as you can see, it says RX, that's USB to power it on the receiver side. So we've got transmitter and receiver. So now I'm going to populate this into the transmitter. So I'm going to populate this into a recorder, and this I'm going to come to a TV in the classroom and see the distance and see what the quality is like. So I've populated it onto a recorder which is at the front of the classroom, and I've now come to one of the TVs that we've got here, and I'll populate the HDMI into here, which I think is HDMI 2, and this TV does have a USB port, so this will allow it to power it up. So now that is connected, you can see it says receiver, and let's now go to the front side of it and let's change the input. So if I change to input number 2, flick that over, and potentially I should get, here you go, wireless mirror adapter. There we go. So now we are transmitting HDMI wirelessly, and that is, I have to say, that's actually quite good. Remember, I am now probably about 7 meters away from where the device is connected. However, the next test is going to be to see if we go through some walls. So let's do that now. Now this is the monitor I'm going to be utilizing to move it into around the building. And just to see, you can now see both of them at the same time, just to see what the latency is like. And I'd say it's milliseconds for the receiver compared to the main monitor, and pretty much just milliseconds. So that latency is actually not too bad, but remember, that's only transmitting about 4 meters, probably 5 meters away. So now let me take the monitor into a different part of the building. First thing I'll do, I'll take it outside the room and see through a first wall to see what it's like. So now I have got the unit outside in the corridor. I can see there's a little bit of, where I think the signal is now coming. So there is a little bit more latency now that we're not line of sight. But now I am going to make the next, there you see it's a switch Wi-Fi signal, but we're not on any Wi-Fi. This is basically transmitting from the transmitter to the device over its own 5G Wi-Fi signal. So now let me take it a bit further away and let's see how that works. Downstairs, so we're going through a concrete ceiling and a few doors. I'd say I'm probably about 75 to 100 meters away now. Probably taking this to its extreme. That's why I don't think we're going to get an image. Yeah, I don't think there's going to be an image arriving here anytime soon, because I think I'm too far away. So we did start to see a bit of issues even throughout the door. I think this is strictly for line of sight. So my conclusion on these wireless HDMI transmitter and receiver, it's ideal line of sight in the same room. When you start going through walls, and especially as you can see, I went downstairs, it completely cut out. So it's perfect if you're in line of sight, let's say in a warehouse, in a long corridor, maybe in a reception area, in something like that. Line of sight, it's fine.